everyone, before we start the episode, a little disclaimer from me, Rieke. So, my time here at Transatlantic Voices was a very special and precious one, and as you might notice, I'm speaking in past tense because I am recording this in order to say, at least temporarily, goodbye. I have decided, because of new adventures that are waiting for me, academically speaking and also abroad, that I will offer my position to another great person and free up the seat and make space for new thoughts, for new developments, and for new ideas here in this podcast. I'm so thankful for the opportunity that ASLAA and Transatlantic Voices has given me with this wonderful project. But for now, there are other things waiting for me that I'm very excited about and I will definitely share about. As a remaining ASLAA member, I will still contribute to this association and will put all of my energy and heart into this. But for now, not into Transatlantic Voices anymore. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you all, and I wish all the best to the future of Transatlantic Voices, Franz, and whoever is filling my seat. Okay, now let's enjoy the episode.
This is a transmission from the ASLAA studios. We've all gathered here for a brand new episode of Transatlantic Voices with our new guest, Vice President of ASLAA, Fabian Hoffmann. Woo!
Oh, hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
It's a real pleasure.
Is it?
I'm still thinking about it. Okay, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
Okay, so I'm Fabian Hoffmann, the Vice President of this beautiful association. I'm here or in ASLAA for like 6 years now, I think. And the Vice President for a couple of years as well. Yeah, and next to this beautiful thing, I am a journalist here in Leipzig.
Well, as you mentioned your role at ASLAA first, let's dive a little deeper into that. Let's start with our icebreaker. So what exactly is your role at ASLAA, and what are your personal reasons for participating in this wonderful association?
Such a good question. Thank you. As vice president, I always say like I'm like an uncle for a child. Like you don't have that much of responsibility, but you have all the fun of being around. Miriam does so good work as president. She will love to hear that.
Or you're like the dad that we just can't have fun around.
No, you can have fun. Oh, she's the dad?
No, you're the dad. I'm just messing with you. I'm having a blast with you.
Thank you. Like I do stuff Miriam doesn't want to do maybe, or anyone else. I also did, like, when we launched our website, I did that. We're like in the middle of redoing it a little bit, like a little revamp of that. And yeah, of course, our big signature event every year, I help out for the graduation to plan it, the food, the music, what have you, to make that happen.
Your schedule sounds definitely more busy than ours. Thank you again for being here. We're going to have a great time together. Now, let's dive into your personal story, your personal history.
I just forgot to answer the question earlier, like what my personal reasons are.
Oh, you forgot to answer.
Oh, yeah,
okay, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
You can do that throughout the episode as well.
Okay.
We'll have lots of questions that invite you to do that. But now let's get started with your past. How did you get into radio or journalism, and what sparked your interest in it?
So I always was like curious for news, to know what's going on. Like now I have like, I don't know, 25 news apps on my phone. So whenever something happens, I know probably what happened and what's gonna happen. No, not what's gonna happen next, but like what's going on. I have a general, a good idea generally, what's happening in the world. Yeah, I think it started like right after school. I studied law for one semester here in Leipzig actually, and that was nothing for me because law. Who would have imagined? Is very for me. It's like when people like to do that kind of stuff, good for them, but it's not for me. I thought it was like to me it was boring. What can you say? And then since I was in Leipzig, I did like a internship at the radio station I'm still with, or the company I'm still with, and had so much fun. Like to go out and have like interviews or do interviews. Different topics from politics to sports to whatever there's happening, and like I stayed there, and I'm still with the company, and in between I studied American Studies.
Let's dive a little deeper into that. So law wasn't the right decision for you, but
Yes.
American Studies was.
Yes.
So where does your interest in all things American come from? And also, why did you ultimately decide to study American Studies here in Leipzig after having studied law? I mean, this couldn't be more contradicting than anything else.
And I mean, like, there was like right after school, there was 2012, I think, when I studied law this one semester. Criminology was fun, so that's like crime is always interesting. And when I started American Studies, that was like 2018, so there was like some time period in between. And my fascination for the USA started like my first memory is like a trip we did in 2000. Before I got into elementary school, or the Easter before, we went to Florida for like 2.5 weeks or something into like a vacation home, and it was very. I mean, I never. Did I hear of the US? I don't know. It was a long flight. It was very exciting. Like we went to the Everglades in what is it, Western Florida or whatever. We landed in Miami. That was very cool, and I still remember that we went to Walmart and got like little fake money, like fake dollars, like for what children play with and stuff. So that's like the first memory, and I don't know, like it's such a big and diverse country. Like looking back now, what might have brought the US to my attention. And then in 2011, I went to New York with my family, and that was very cool because New York is such a cool city. Also big, diverse. The food is really good. So yeah, and I kept coming back. Like in 2018, I went by myself to New York, which was very cool. Right before I started to study, I think. Yeah, I kept coming back, and I was always like in my later high school years interested in the politics there because it's such an important country for the world. So it's important what happens there. Yeah. I stayed up late for the election in 2012 and in 2016, obviously, and so on and so forth. So it was very exciting.
It's really interesting to hear that because my interest in America came from many different things, all different things from yours, because I've mainly just watched TV shows and listened to music from America, and that is how my fascination came about. It wasn't so much about politics or me going there. I've never been there, no experience living there in any way, but it's interesting how different these kind of entryways can be.
But I totally forgot about like the media impact or the cultural impact the US has on Germany. I totally forgot. Yeah, I watched like NBC Today is the morning show of NBC, and I watched that like on Apple Podcasts or like the video podcast in 2010. I remember it vividly now that you say it, like American Media and King of Queens is one of my favorite sitcoms of all time.
Yeah,
so
mine
yeah,
too.
Exactly. So and that was like 2005 or whatever. They started in the late 90s. So that, of course, yeah, and we have so much of American culture in Germany as well. You don't have to be there to like feel America, basically.
For better or worse.
Anyway, let's stick to university for a second, because I want to know how have the skills that you brought from being on the radio helped you throughout your studies, and maybe vice versa as well, because you have actually you still worked on the radio while you were studying, right?
Exactly, like a weekend job, or like we have different shifts, and of course we are there 24/7, so someone needs to do it on a weekend as well, and that was perfect for me, like studying during the week and then on some weekends, not all, work on the radio. So since I started working in the radio first, I think like I have in general like good organizational skills. So because I have to like deliver a product at a certain time, if that's my shift or whatever, you have to be fast, you have to think critically, and also like process information very quickly in order to give presenters or present it yourself to have something to tell the audience, the listeners. That definitely helped me, and I mean, I liked society, history, and politics very much during my studies, and that's very helpful. So if you like, I feel like I'm a news person, either if I work or not. So I'm always interested what's going on, and that's very helping. I'm not like, maybe if I have to like weigh it, like literature, culture is very interesting, but not as interesting to me as SHP in American Studies here in Leipzig, and that helped me very much. Yeah.
Just for our listeners that don't study at the University of Leipzig or are American Studies students, he was talking about the different modules that make up the American Studies program here. One of them being literature and culture, and the other one, for instance, being society, history, and politics, just for your information.
Thank you for clarifying.
So let's look at the present. What does your normal day look like on the radio as a journalist?
So today, so the times vary. For example, that's very journalistic. So like today, my day started at like, I got up like after 5 and started working at 6. So today I didn't have to present anything for like this radio station XYZ. So I'm like the, what is it called? Not editor-in-chief, but like I type I research and type the news that the presenters then present on air for our customers.
So you're the brain behind
the things you listen, the things you hear. Yeah,
okay,
exactly. Yeah. So that's what I do. We get like from our news wires, we got news, or like our chancellor is in China right now, so we listen what he has to say in Beijing and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's that's a normal day. Or on the weekends we have to cover a lot of sports for our customers, like different sports from different areas of Germany. So then sometimes I sit there and can watch a soccer game and like then report what happened, who won.
But when you say customers, do you mean that you kind of do research for several stations across Germany?
Yes, we are like a news provider for multiple radio stations across Germany.
Okay.
So we don't just do one in Saxony or whatever. So we have like, I don't know, 50. So that whenever you listen to radio in Germany, there's a chance that might be us, or you can listen to me. Who knows?
Well, I don't know about your writing style or your research style, so I have no idea how to recognize you. But
sometimes you can listen. You can hear my voice.
I can?
Not only.
Okay, we'll talk about this
podcast.
later. Anyway, throughout your now decade-spanning career, as we've formally established, you're practically ancient at this point. Have you ever worked on a US-related project, and if so, what was it about?
Of course, as I said, like elections are very important because the whole world is watching what's happening in the US. And actually, in 2016, that was my first election while having this job. And like I was interested in elections before, but that was like perfect combination because I'm so interested in what's happening. And since I was in Leipzig, I actually interviewed for our election coverage, so in the lead up to the election, as an expert, Krista Garrett, our former the late professor here at American Studies in Leipzig. And that was very cool to have that perspective because he's an American, and to have that. And so I basically knew him before I went back to the university to study and have him in this one semester of SHP1.
Was that your very favorite project, or do you have any other favorite projects that you remember? Or is there maybe something going on right now that we should know about?
Oh, I think currently no. The sea is quiet. No, but like that's what's so fun in our job or in my job, because like I'm not specialized in one thing, so I don't just do like US politics or something. Like there are journalists who just do that and have, I guess, way more expertise than I have, although I don't have none, but they are way more informed, or they work there, or they work on that on a daily basis. But sometimes there's nothing to tell about US politics in our news. So like I love to do sports as well, and in 2021, when they had the European Championship, soccer championship, we did a podcast, which was very fun. Like I never did that before. So on a daily basis, a colleague of mine and I, we talked about stuff that's happening. Of course, the results of the games and like some funny stuff around the tournament. That was very fun. Yeah.
And speaking of current projects, are there any current plans for you to ever work outside of Germany, specifically across the pond? Now looking into your future, of course.
I think that would be fun because, of course, I think about that. Nothing is on the horizon yet, but I'm like, although my career is decades spanning already, I'm not that old, so that can still happen. I think. I think it would be very interesting to have that angle and deal on it like a if you're specialized in one particular area, to have that on a daily basis. That would be very interesting. Yeah, but maybe like the combination of like doing, let's say, US reporting, but for a German outlet or something. That would be maybe the best of both worlds. Yeah.
Let's not neglect ASLAA. Let's
Never.
talk a little bit about ASLAA, especially as you're the vice president. How do you think ASLAA's role in guiding freshman American Studies students will develop moving forward?
I think in the last year or two, we developed quite like an interesting range of what you can be within ASLAA. Like we like to connect, of course, the older student or former students and older students with the ancient students, decades spanning. That's gonna stick. With freshman students like you are, like for ASLAA, and like new faces bring like new ideas. So you two wanted to do a podcast, and now I'm here sitting across the room from you, and like you're interviewing me, which is pretty cool. And like the graduation has always been there, but like so our social media presence has changed over like the last year or two, because we have two team members who like to do social media, or are a bit younger and maybe more perceptive of
Not
what the
as
youth
ancient.
on Instagram wants than maybe the president or I do. So that's like, yeah, we expanded our range of what we can do or show to the people with ASLAA.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I mean, not to spoil you too much, but you guys stuck out to me immediately when when we first came here.
Why was that?
When was that?
No, why?
Why?
Yeah, why did we
I
stick
have
out?
no idea.
Oh.
Well, it was mainly because I heard that there was a podcast before. That was the main reason. But then, of course, I read into what you're doing, and I thought, hey, that sounds pretty cool to get involved in. And I think other people are definitely keen on doing that as well. I hope so, at least.
And I mean, it's always good for resume.
That for sure, yeah. That was probably another reason for me to do it. just to be selfish for a second. But speaking of a wide range of topics, speaking of a wide range of practices, today's community question is exactly about that. I want to ask you, what are the pros and cons of working in a specialized field of journalism compared to being a broader researcher or news anchor, which is what you do? Can you maybe list a few things?
So as I said before, like when you deal with one particular topic or area on a daily basis, you of course have more in-depth knowledge of that. So if I would be in the US or whatever, covered the White House, I don't know, or sports, like one sports team, of course you know more, you get more connections in that field. But like that's a plus, of course. But like when something in the world happens and you basically do all important stuff that happens on a daily basis, you have a general idea. So, oh, there was like last week this happened, and then now this week something similar happens, or like in that whatever, like in the Bundestag something happened last week, and now there's like a follow-up thing happening. I don't have an example now, but whatever. So you can react maybe a bit quicker on like these things because you have like in the back of your mind, hopefully, like comparable events or something that preceded that particular event. They weigh each other out, I would say.
Okay, Mr. VP, let's talk a little bit about traveling. Since
Yay!
we try to create this roadmap or road trip with all our guests, now's your time to add your favorite place or maybe a couple of places where we in our community should travel to.
So you can't see it or smell it, but like I brought Chicago-style hot dogs.
It smells very good in here.
They taste very well.
Would be really nice if a podcast was also now in 4D.
Or 5D, like with smell and taste and whatever, 6D. So I'm particularly fond of Chicago because I studied there during my semester abroad, which is a very nice city. I've been there recently as well. With the president, actually. It was a little field trip. And so in Chicago, there's like old train tracks above the street. It's like the High Line in New York, if anybody heard of that before. And you can also bike on them. So it's like a little better than the High Line in New York, because on the High Line in New York, you can only walk. And you can also bike there, and it was like it's called the 606. It's like 3 miles, I think. So nice to go back and forth, or like walk your dog, whatever. It's a very nice place. So when the sun is out, it's like springy temperatures. Very, very nice. So that would be my
that would be your contribution to our road trip.
The 606 in Chicago.
Nice. All right. So we have talked all things traveling, food, vice presidency, journalism today. Thank you so much for being in the studio today with us.
Thanks for having me.
It was a blast. Franz, is there anything you want to add, or should we just... Do you have any closing words?
You're not that ancient. You're not that ancient. If anything, you're old.
Okay.
Can we settle on old?
Old.
Good.
Not young.
Not young, but middle-aged. Okay, we're leaving that behind.
I'm never coming back.
Okay. Thanks for having you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for being with us. Please, dear listeners, give us some feedback. Write in the comments what you thought about Fabian, what you thought about his career, his decade-spanning career, and also who we should invite next.
And join ASLAA.
yeah, join ASLAA. And with that, bye everyone.